Hi, everyone. Eric Burkholder here with Jordan Bradford, and today we're going to talk to you about financial planning. It's a word that you've probably heard. A lot of firms use it, but we're going to talk to you about the importance of financial planning. What does actually financial planning mean? And then kind of what does it mean for us here at Purple Wealth Management. So I'll just kick things off and ask Jordan, what is financial planning? I mean, that can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, that's a big question, and honestly, it's something that we get asked a lot about, which is, what's a financial plan? What does that mean? How do we get one? And how do we go about the process of building a financial plan? And I think a financial plan really encompasses a lot of different areas. And for most people, it encompasses, many areas all at once. So some of the common, areas that a financial planner are going to cover are going to be things like retirement or education planning, investment planning. That's a big one. Folks have investments. They're trying to align those with their goals, and a financial plan can do that really well. And then some other areas of financial planning that may not be quite as exciting but are equally important are areas such as disability and long-term care planning, or insurance planning. No one likes to talk about insurance. It's not necessarily the most fun conversation, but it's important to, have a plan that really looks at everything in a whole, to understand, are all of our moving financial parts, are they aligned together to achieve goals that we have set for both short, medium, and long term.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and an important thing you touched on there was, comprehensiveness of a plan, and there's really no way to piecemeal a plan, right? If we're looking at your investments, that will affect your taxes, and so we're going to have to also look at your taxes, and a plan that does not cover everything is not going to work. You're going to have some holes, and ultimately it probably won't get you where you need to go.
Yeah, exactly. And not every area of financial planning applies to every person. But I think it's really rare that a financial plan is only going to cover one specific topic. And I think the most common topic we would get is maybe retirement planning. Mm-hmm. And people will come and say, that's our number one focus. We want to talk about retirement and what that looks like for us and in our plan. But in order to understand your retirement plan, we also need to know about your tax situation. We need to know about dependents. And is there a plan for succession in a business that you may own, or investment planning? How do our investments correlate with our plan of retiring in 5 years or 10 years or 25 years? And aligning all of those pieces together is really what a financial plan does.
Yeah, that's great. So, a lot of people probably wonder kind of what does that process look like? I mean, how do you start creating a plan?
Yeah, so, a financial plan can be done in a lot of different ways, but I think, realistically, there's, a handful of pieces of that process that kind of go in a particular order. And I think the first and foremost thing that needs to be done from a financial planner like ourselves is we have to understand where our client's at right now. I think that's the first piece of the puzzle, is understanding where you're at and where you're looking to go. And then identifying and selecting the right goals. Because a lot of clients, they'll come to us and they may not necessarily have specific goals, but they know I want to retire at some point. And it's our job to help them understand where you're at and how to appropriately apply those goals to your current situation. So after identifying and selecting those goals, then we're going to analyze your current action items and then make some recommendations from there. Determine, okay, if we don't change anything, how likely are we going to be to succeed? And then if we make a few tweaks, where's that going to put us? Then we'll develop and present that plan to a client. And then the next process is really implementing the aspects of the financial plan. So that could be anywhere from creating budgets, creating cash flow statements, putting together a more robust investment plan that aligns with your risk tolerance and goals. And then our job as planners, which I think is maybe the most fun part of it, is the ongoing monitoring and updating of that plan. Because a financial plan is a living, breathing document that we have to make updates to. I can promise you that, if you create a plan today, 10 years from now, it is going to look different. Right. Just because life happens, and we think we want to go one direction and we find ourselves, on another path at some point. So having a plan that's really flexible and is capable of being updated is probably just as important as having a plan that's written to begin with.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, you covered a lot there. And I think it's a great example of it's not a simple thing. And like you said, it's a living, breathing document. Oftentimes we meet with a prospect and we say, have you done a plan, or have you done any plan before? And they say, oh yeah, here's the 50-page document my previous advisor printed for me. And it's great to have something to reference, but that's not how a plan works. You don't get, here's your plan and it's done and you put it on the shelf. It's just not. It's an ongoing process. It's ongoing changes and monitoring. And if you don't go beyond just that document, it typically is not successful.
Right, right. And I think that's really what the job of a financial planner is it's very similar to if you go and work with an estate planner to build a trust. You can have the trust documents, you can have, the best written trust that's out there, but if you fail to fund the trust, then all you have is a really expensive piece of paper in your safe deposit box. So a financial plan is no different. You have to fund your financial plan, and by doing that, or how we do that, is we make sure that the areas of your financial life are aligning correctly with the plan that we've put in place. And then reviewing that regularly to determine, are we still on track? Are we making progress towards our goals? Or are we kind of, staying in a spot where we're not really moving? And that's not a place that anyone wants to be. We always want to be working towards the goals that we've set, so that, whether you're planning for retirement or you're planning for your kids' education, you should be seeing that progress being made over time. And that's what helps you kind of fuel you to make more changes to benefit your plan in the long run.
Yeah. And so what would you say is something that's different in how we approach the financial planning process to maybe the firm down the street?
Yeah. So, obviously it's difficult to speak on the processes that every firm has, right? And every firm is a little different. Even advisors within firms can sometimes have different processes. But I think what you'll hear commonly is most financial advisors will say that they do a financial plan, or that they do financial planning and financial advising. And I think that what makes us a little different is we really want to lead with our financial plan. Because to us, that's the most important thing that we can do for our clients, is to have a robust plan that aligns with your goals. I think, especially with your background as a CFA, we certainly have a lot of interest in investing and the investment management process, but we also realize that a good investment is really just a tool to help you get to a goal. Right. The goal isn't to own, a certain mutual fund for a long period of time. It's to own good investments that help you fund the goals that we have that are more personal to ourselves.
Right.
Because my goals are different than your goals, and your goals are different than, John Smith's goals. And so we have to figure out what are the right investments that fit those, but ultimately understanding the individual and their current plan needs, I think, is the most important thing. I think that's what makes us different, is that, we really want to leave no stone unturned. We want to kind of be involved in every financial decision that you make, as much as you'd like us to be involved. And I think that kind of separates us a little bit, because we feel then we really know our clients really well.
Yeah, no, I obviously couldn't agree more. Being proactive and creating a plan that someone can stick to is ultimately what's going to work. If you just approach it from fill out this risk profile and here's your portfolio, on paper that may fit, but if the client is more conservative or more aggressive or has other maybe tax issues or legacy planning requests, all those things mean, as you said, every client's a little bit different. And so what we're doing is all a means to an end, and that end is retiring comfortably, providing for your family and your beneficiaries, and many other goals beyond that. And so always focusing on the end goal and working from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Obviously, if anyone out there has any questions on financial planning, if you don't currently work with an advisor and would like to hear more about how we do things here at Burkholder Wealth Management, we'd love to talk with you. And if you're a current client and you're like, oh, hey, they mentioned tax planning and we haven't talked about that, we're obviously always here and ready to get to work for you. So I think that's all we have for today. We'll look forward to talking with you on the next video, and don't hesitate to reach out.
Awesome.
All right. See you guys later.